terrifying destination hidden forever at the universe's edge remains documented inside deep prehistoric natural history. This is no ordinary jungle but a fortress where a multi-millennial silence strictly governs the wilderness environment. A massive 90,000-foot titan stands as the supreme guardian and protector of this quiet ancient environment. King Kong stands securely on his stone peak, sensing a highly dangerous and destructive vibration in the air. 10 cataclysmic prehistoric monsters have emerged from the ancient gloomy depths, forcing nature itself to tremble violently outside. 10 giant Titanoboas of liquid muscle enter the territory to challenge the current primitive natural land order and dominance. These massive monsters of liquid muscle advance with an intent to swallow the king completely alive today in combat. The ultimate dangerous and epic final battle begins as the invaders challenge the king's rule and authority over the land. The old silence of the gorge shatters like an explosion as all 10 predators strike the leader with simultaneous force. 5 massive Titanoboas moved, instantly wrapping steel coils around the king's legs and limbs from behind in a deadly grip. The remaining snakes wrapped their broad coils around his chest and neck, executing extreme compression today in this fatal battle. A Sanjin phase of death began where every passing second squeezed natural oxygen out of his lungs with crushing force. The severe compression brought the king's skeleton close to breaking point within this highly unequal confrontation and physical struggle. Witnessing the imminent fall of the monarch, ancient forest animals fled the scene in absolute panic and terror swiftly. But the true king's deep rage is his greatest destructive power, which the enemy underestimated completely today in this final battle. Despite the intense choking pressure, Kong activated his mental capacity and used his remaining physical power to fight back. He lifted a heavy and Wozni granite piece from the mud using his available free hand immediately in this desperate struggle. This sharp geological element would serve as his primary defense tool to break the loop's deadly hold and constricting coils. He drove the stone with force into the lower cranial base near the Titan-sensitive main artery in a fatal blow. A severe wave of pain surged through the giant serpent's body, forcing its tight coils to loosen and release their deadly grip. Gaining absolute freedom, Kong gathered his remaining physical power to execute a powerful defensive counter-strike and attack the enemy. He combined his massive hands into a heavy hammer configuration to target the remaining invading predators and deliver crushing blows. He delivered extremely powerful strikes onto the remaining snake's jaws, breaking their forward balance entirely and rendering them defenseless. The Titans broke several old mahogany trees, crashing down onto the earth with a heavy and decisive thud in this final confrontation. The jungle clearing has completely transformed into a dangerous death field where a fire of revenge burns fiercely and relentlessly. This Gamasan and ruthless battle became a turning point where dominance was decided solely by physical force and strength in combat. The intense physical confrontation reaches its absolute conclusion, resulting in the total destruction of the enemy forces and their defeat. Utilizing his remaining physical power, Kong dragged the lifeless Titans across the muddy ground with distinct purpose and resolve. He hurled the dead monsters deep into the gorge's deepest and darkest boiling swamp hole, permanently ending their threat. Its return from the shadows of this ancient subterranean chasm is rendered completely impossible within nature today in this final defeat. The grand prehistoric duel concludes, leaving the ancient habitat secure under its rightful alpha leader and king once more. Covered in deep wounds, the victorious king emerges from the mud, seeking an elevated vantage point to survey his kingdom. He climbs toward a high Pathrala Chatan as his respiration gradually returns to standard baseline levels in this moment of triumph. The alpha primate mounts the high platform overlooking the entire valley expanse of his wilderness kingdom with a commanding presence. The final crimson ray of the setting sun falls on his chest, illuminating his extensive battle scars and heroic deeds. The protective sparkle returns to his eyes as he confirms his absolute dominion over the entire land and its inhabitants. Standing as a massive shadow between dusk and moonrise, he positions himself to guard his territory and protect his kingdom. He releases an immensely powerful roar toward the sky, shaking the entire perimeter of the gorge today in a display of dominance. This roar declares that no matter what disaster approaches, the Sol Badshah remains 90,000-foot Kong and ruler of the land. The absolute monarch stands firm, confirming that dominion over this prehistoric wilderness territory remains Hamisha his and his alone. The unique landscape of the gorge is permanently modified by the extreme physical violence of today's fight and confrontation. Agitated mineral elements settle once again into mud pools as the valley returns to a quiet state and peaceful atmosphere. Life along the ground slowly resumes as smaller organisms witness the aftermath of the Titans' war and the return of peace. These jagged stone crowns have witnessed the fall of massive invaders and the rise of victors in this ancient and prehistoric world. Scavengers descend from high altitudes to participate in the final chapter of this deadly wilderness struggle and claim their share of the spoils. Relics of the combat are slowly buried by the sands of time, becoming part of history and a reminder of the Titans' war. Tranquility returns to the territory, but the memory of the dangerous invasion will echo Hermetia in the hearts of those who witnessed it. Even the strongest kings must tend to their wounds after surviving a lethal encounter with monsters and predators. As dawn approaches, the predator's memory fades, and the sun honors the victors of the final battle and their bravery. Nature adapts quickly to violence, using the scars of the past as foundation for the future, and the cycle of life continues. The waters are still once again hiding the memory of the giant predators that fought here and the battle that took place. Even in the sight of destruction, new life begins to bloom, fueled by rich volcanic soil and the power of nature. Walking through the ferns, the ruler re-established his daily patrol of the land he successfully defended and protected. Standing tall, the ancient trees endure the passing of seasons and the violent wars of titans, and remain a testament to their strength. The forest is alive with movement as the cycle of life continues under watchful eyes, and the delicate balance of nature is maintained. At night, the marsh reveals its eerie beauty, masking the violence that occurred beneath the moon and in the darkness. Steam rises from cooling earth as the heat of the battle dissipates into darkening night air, and the landscape is transformed. The jungle canopy hides many secrets, but the story of the hunt will always be told and remembered. Small life forms emerge once again to claim their place in the cycle of nature today and in this prehistoric world. Even the strongest kings must tend to their domain after surviving a lethal encounter with monsters and predators. The moon watches over a kingdom that has successfully defended itself against the greatest of terrors and monsters. With the arrival of dawn, the king prepares to patrol his vast territory once again today and protect his kingdom. The river remains a source of life for all creatures who call this mysterious basin home and rely on its waters. The waterfall provides a moment of reflection for the ruler who has survived another day today, and in this moment of peace. A king sees more than just a survivor in the reflection, he sees weight of duty and responsibility. Light returns to the land, revealing the true scale of the prehistoric world where titans rule and the power of nature is on full display. Nature's small workers begin the task of reclaiming the site where massive primal titans fought, and the cycle of life continues. Even the most fearsome predators are part of a delicate balance that sustains life Hermetia in this prehistoric world. Mountain waters steadily rinse the old muddy fields, restoring clarity across the entire marshland habitat zones, and the landscape is transformed. Pristine atmospheric movements shroud the highest ridges, keeping silent vigil over changing primitive wildlife domains Hermetia in this ancient world. Morning condensation provides critical sustenance for small local organisms moving through dense hidden foliage layers routinely in this prehistoric world. Towering ancient groves remain unaffected by massive apex confrontations, preserving natural structures over long eras Hermetia in this land. These ancient heights maintain an unyielding watch over the shifting cycles of life and primal animal combat in this prehistoric world. Tranquility returns to the basin, but the memory of dangerous hunt will echo Hermetia in time and in the hearts of those who witnessed it. The legends of the obsidian abyss will forever echo the day the king stood firm Hermetia and protected his kingdom.